Oh, hell yeah. It's the Super Farmer Brothers Super Show, the one podcast that will kick your ass. And today we have none other than the one, the only Justin Harton. Justin Harton. It should be Justin Harton because that's what you're going to have after you hear what this guy's got to say, okay? An old childhood friend. We go down memory lane over nostalgia. This is our first podcast ever. It's taken me about a year to learn how to upload it because I've been busy with so many other things, but whatever. We're a little rusty, but we're only going to get better, okay? So be patient, and here we go. This is Stephen Farmer and Matthew Farmer. Super Farmer Brother Super Show, and we got our guest star today, the one and only Justin Harton. Hey, say hello to the people, Justin.
Hello, everybody.
You want to go by Justin, or you want to go by Cative?
No, Justin's fine.
We'll go by Justin. I mean, we were talking about, all these wrestling games. They used to make the worst wrestling because they knew they could get away with it. Like, you remember? Do you remember WCW Thunder and Nitro? How bad they were.
I remember going back playing the original one on NES, the WWF, where you played as Bam Bam Bigelow and the Honky Tonk Man. And when you hit people, items fell out of them.
That's back when they made it really cartoony.
Doink the Clown and all that.
Yeah. No. On top of that. So I asked this guy, because I loved those AKI games. I loved, the original WCW versus NWO. I love Revenge. I like Revenge the best of all of them, even though the other ones have, things
more
better
things
than them.
Yeah,
I just like the roster better. And I kind of got annoyed at the creative character, because then everybody's using creative characters, and, you're not using the real wrestlers. But then WrestleMania 2000 was great. No Mercy. It had some things against it, like if you did 4 players, it got really slow, and I got tired of all the backstage dumb stuff, and they didn't have the full interest, but it was still a good game. But then it just stopped making games, AKI. And I go up to the guy at the annoying guy at what is it at the time? It's like KB Toys or whatever the
EB game.
The EB game before GameStop was real big.
Funko.
Funko
Land.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's one of those dudes, those weird gamer dudes that have the long fingernails and the ponytails. I don't know what they're into. Maybe vampire stuff.
Got the little scraggly goatee patch.
They can't wait to get home and look at your hentai.
Oh yeah, he's got one of those elitist nerd things to him where I'm annoying him for just asking questions. He acts like I'm just asking the dumbest questions. Do you got the new Mega Man? They haven't made that in 15 years. I'm not asking something that stupid. But I'm just dude, why did they stop making the AKI wrestling games? Those were the best. Why did they only make SmackDown? Or why did they let Anchor make those terrible Raw games in Xbox? Well, obviously, they must have made a choice that AKI just wasn't doing what they needed to do. They obviously must have needed a better company to make it. I'm no, those were the best. Everybody loved those games. Why do you think they stopped doing that?
The graphics look better in the newer games, but they got away from the core of the video games, in my opinion. I don't know why they left it, and I think it's because WWE and everything has gotten so involved in all their merchandising. If you look, McMahon got his hands in everything.
Well, he's always had it that way, though.
Yeah, but it's gotten a lot worse. You got to look at all the new movies they do now. That they've got a brand.
Those are so terrible. You buy every movie. Do you own their movies?
No, I don't.
Have you seen The Marine?
I've seen them, but I don't buy them.
You've seen them? You've seen them all? You've seen plural?
Saw the first one. The first one.
And the third one.
No, I didn't watch it. After the first one, I didn't watch. The only one of his movie franchise that I thought was even remotely decent was Condemned.
I was going to say 12 rounds.
Is this one that's got Stone Cold in it?
Yeah, it's the one basically off that movie Battle Royale, the manga.
What about that one with Kane in it?
See No Evil. First one was okay.
You like that?
Wait. Are you about to tell me they made a sequel? You just said first one.
Yes, they did. See No Evil 2. And it's about the premise of it when he goes back and he's in an ambulance, and I guess he wakes up at a mental institution.
Man. Good God,
but,
man. I don't even like the old ones now, thinking about how bad wrestling is now.
But McMahon has his hands so much in the pockets now. He wanted to brand everything he can with them. So he doesn't want anybody else involved in them. It's my opinion. I think he cut the middleman out, so he's like, well, we're going to make our games and let these people do them. And y'all just weren't doing what we wanted. Because if you remember, when they made their games, they threw in their characters, their wrestling characters, AKI Man and the Black Ninja.
Oh yeah, they would have all those
Well, WCW would allow it. They'd allow all these Asian wrestlers, but they wouldn't give them their real names. I guess so they had to pay the rights. But WCW had a cool deal going on with like New Japan or something, so they kind of worked.
They had some really crazy characters.
But that stopped as soon as the WWF one came out.
Yep.
You know, but like, so here's the thing with those games is like, I haven't played the new ones now. I stopped playing after like SmackDown and stuff. And I look at it, I watch it. It looks like the same thing. It doesn't help that I hate whatever wrestling's going on now anyway.
Yeah, I can't watch it to save my life.
Yeah, but have you played the new ones? Are they any
I
good?
got 2016 installed on my Xbox One. It was last month's free to download game. So I downloaded it. Everybody's like, oh, you need to play it. It's great. I loaded it up, looked at the roster, and went, nope.
Okay, here's the thing about wrestlers. Like back then, these dudes were crazy outlaw. Like the way I heard one guy described was like, if they didn't have wrestling, these guys would be in jail. That's the kind of guys they were. These guys who would like go out and get bar fights. Like I heard wrestlers back then, if they got in a fight and lost, they were fired because nobody could take them serious as a wrestler. So if you get in a fight, you better win. And then they're all on steroids, so they look really, really old. All the time. Like Stone Cold and The Rock. Remember we watched them back in the 90s? I'm older than they were back then. You know how old they looked? Like Scott Steiner and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Triple H was like 28 when we were watching them.
What was his first? Terror Razor?
Terrorizing. And
I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, well, we weren't really watching back then. But so that's what's so weird about like the wrestlers. Now all these wrestlers are either my age or younger, and they all come off like goofy. They got their own like YouTube channels where they play video games and stuff. I do that stuff. I don't want to see the guy.
I'm idolizing this guy. He's supposed to be the big buff guy that I'm going to look up to. He's like, well, let's go jump over this car out on the freeway.
Oh yeah, they're all doing it. It's just like they okay. Wrestlers back then, they were getting backstage fights and like. I mean, they do that a little bit now, but now they mostly get in Twitter wars with each other. You know?
It's too much talking now, and it's not
social
like
justice wrestling.
Yeah,
they look. Oh yeah, if they say something racy or something, they'll get fired and stuff. Like these guys are supposed to be saying off-color stuff that's supposed to offend people. Like,
yeah.
They need to bring back like a new ECW. Like,
it's whatever. It's over now. They got UFC where real fighting's going on, and the people are actually saying so. Why even bother?
We could always go back and watch McMahon's football.
XFL.
Yeah.
I don't even watch football, so I couldn't even tell it was bad football. So,
it's arena football. It's what a bunch of kids should have been playing and have flags hanging off their butt.
I just remember He Hate Me. I was just like, I thought they had better mascots, you know, like they had like the
cheerleaders were hot and stuff too.
Unlike the NFL cheerleaders, like they're not hot.
McMahon purposely put them girls in thongs and stuff.
Dude, I've met like a couple of like ex NFL cheerleaders in my time and stuff.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I met the Charger cheerleaders when I was over in Iraq.
One was hitting on me, but then she had like 2 kids and a husband. You could tell she was trying to get out. That happens all the time when you live in a... But here's a wrestling game I liked. Like, if I was going to make a wrestling game, I would make it this way. I'd make it like Saturday Night Slam Master, where you just make up your own wrestlers.
That was a lot of fun. That was one of my favorite wrestling
we played
games.
it because that's back when, 64 is much shit people want to talk about. One of my favorite systems. It started the 4-player stuff because they had the 4 ports, which was like groundbreaking at the time.
Yeah.
But we got the multi-tap, so we could play that game 4 players, you know? Yeah. And no other game was doing it. So that was another thing that was great about it. It got a sequel, apparently. I never heard they had
I didn't hear about it until
right?
later. Yeah, it was an arcade.
Oh, it was arcade only? Okay.
Yeah. And the only reason I heard about it is I was watching videos one day and I was like, no, they didn't make a sequel. So I looked it up. Yeah, they made a sequel.
I found out games had sequels I never knew about. I didn't know DuckTales had a sequel. I didn't know Rescue Rangers had a sequel.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Too.
I love the first one.
Yeah,
I remember playing that a long time. We're picking up those apples and throwing them.
Or you're hiding in the boxes or whatever.
Running from the giant mechanical dog.
No, you could pick up...
Yeah, what about Fat Cat?
You could pick up boxes and hide them. I don't know who makes boxes small enough for a chipmunk.
Well, I want to know who made a box that logically, this box, you can push it, it falls on the enemy, kills them, but then you can pick it up and be like, I'm under it.
Yeah.
So the bottom just magically disappears.
You know Metal Gear Solid ripped off the hiding in the box from Rescue Rangers? And they'll never forgive him for that.
All those Disney games used to be good because Capcom made them.
That's why they all had good music. Capcom went from having the best music in games, like it went from like memorable Street Fighter 2 to I'm gonna take you for a ride.
Yeah, when I get that Marvel vs. Capcom 2, it was like, what is this?
I mean, yeah, it was just weird. But the thing about like those games and stuff, By the way, Capcom had great entrance songs for all the wrestlers on Saturday Slam Masters. I still remember like the songs. Like I remember Hagar and Gunlock had really good ones. But
The El Fuego guy that Alex always played as, he had that like Mexican racist music playing.
that was a racist.
It was like a mariachi band sounding
I'm trying
stuff.
to remember that guy.
He was the one with the. He was like Rey Mysterio. He turned into a fireball and flew across the map.
El Stingray.
I thought it was like El Fuego or something.
El
I
Stingray.
thought Sam used that character a lot, didn't he?
Sam played as him too. Alex played as him a lot too.
Okay.
Alex had it down where he could do that, like where he flew across and never stopped.
Yeah, it was like Street Fighter meets wrestling. But like, so a lot of people they want to talk about how PlayStation was way better than 64. They talk shit about 64, but I had way more fun with 64. But
I did.
think
I had a lot more fun with 64.
I think you know why I think it is because we had friends. Like if you want to play a one-player game, you can sit there and play Metal Gear Solid or Final Fantasy or
Resident Evil
all day.
If you're an RPG player, which is usually a one-player game,
yeah,
PlayStation was fine.
or like,
N64 didn't have that.
or
kind of
fighting games. You know,
Well, yeah,
we
that
had
too.
like Mace the Dark Age, where I never got to play. I thought that'd be
I
cool.
always
I
wanted
didn't
to
never
play
play that
game.
one either.
I saw it.
You
But
know
I
what?
never,
You know what they did?
Yeah, I remember.
They had that
We
one
just-
character that looked like Lord Zed from Power Rangers.
yeah. I thought he'd be like Lord Demos or something. I wanted to play that. It looked cool. It had like
I
every
wanted to play
stereotypical
that too
warrior.
and never got around
I never
to it.
saw it anywhere to buy, and that's before anybody would like order online and stuff. You
Right.
think about it, but you never did it.
You
No,
had
no,
to go
you
to
had to-
Walmart and be like, "Come on, Walmart, you got it."
Right.
Dang.
But I mean, the one thing we could have done back then,
We had
you
Mortal Kombat
order in a
Trilogy.
magazine. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You had it in a magazine. We had Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat
if it
Trilogy.
wasn't for GamePro, we would have never even heard of some games.
Oh yeah. What did Scary Larry say about this? I don't know if I should buy it. Like, isn't it weird that you were getting reviews by like made up name guys? Like, you would never do that now.
No.
Somebody just made up some
It's
name
like
for
it's like
themselves.
Scary
Right,
Larry.
just like-
Why am I gonna listen to this one? Now, if I'm like, oh, that's Jimmy Johnson. I know who Jimmy Johnson is.
Yeah,
I trust
exactly.
that guy's review.
Jimmy Johnson, the guy that coached the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, I think I'll trust him on Mace the Dark Ages. But so with that being said, like I mean, they had the better they had Street Fighter. Like 64 had Mace and had Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and just some weird fighting games that never took
They
off.
got some
you
of
know?
the 3D Mortal
they-
Kombats that were no good.
Well, but PlayStation had Soul Blade, Tekken 3,
Namco.
the Street Fighter Alpha games.
Yeah.
It had Mortal Kombat Trilogy, which we already had. I think it also had Mace the Dark Ages.
No.
The N64 had the better Mortal Kombat one because
Well,
it had a
PlayStation.
higher roster.
No,
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
You got
Really?
that wrong.
You got the bosses on that one. That and
That's
Sega
right.
Saturn had the bosses.
And that was the big thing at the time.
only-
Now you go back and play it, you don't really care. They only had like very few moves.
The only difference 64 had over PlayStation, and if this makes a difference for you, like, okay, let me know about it. I want to know if this made a difference for you. Instead of getting the male chameleon, you got female chameleon.
Hey, I might have a problem with that.
Which I do prefer the female chameleon, but it's not. I'd rather have Shokan Kintaro go
Yeah.
Motaro than that. But that's the only difference. So PlayStation had you on. You know, you had the scenes and stuff. Like I say, have both. Don't just pick one. But PlayStation had the one-player experience, RPGs, fighting games, all that stuff. Okay, but 64 had more fun. The party. games.
It did. I had two major issues when always playing PlayStation compared to my N64. One is I hated when you had a game that had two discs. Hated that.
Why'd you hate that?
I hated the stop in the middle. It's like, stop, open disc tray, put this one in. And if you went back to an area that you were on the first disc, it's like, switch the disc
Name
out
a game
again.
where you had to do that.
Final Fantasy.
All the Final Fantasy games had
All
multiple
of them
discs.
did.
No, but did you ever have to do what
No,
he's
you
saying?
never had to go back. I never saw that. That was like for the story part.
Yeah, that's
the cutscenes. You could
some of the stuff you had.
Once you progress enough in Final Fantasy VII, then it's like, all right,
Vagrant Story, if I'm not mistaken, you had to change disc back and forth if you went back to a beginning area. Which I can't really say anything because damn Xbox did the same shit with the Castlevania game. If you went back to the first chapters, you had to put the disc one back in.
Which
game?
Harmony,
no, Harmony of Dissonance was a Game Boy Advance.
not Harmony.
You like Blue Dragon or something?
The one that came out, they did the sequel. It's the one where, spoiler, I guess.
Mass Effect?
Did you play the ones that came out on Xbox 360?
The one that came out on Xbox 360.
Castlevania?
No, hold on. Yeah, there's Lords of Shadow, and then there's Lords of Shadow 2.
Yes, Lords of Shadow 1 was a 2-disc game.
Nope, I got it.
I have it too. It's the one that you went in the map, you got the fairies and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's a 2-disc game.
And
I haven't opened it up in a long time. So
when
I
you go
can't tell
through
you.
when you go through chapters, you get halfway through the game and it tells you to put disc 2 in, and then you had to take disc 2 out if you wanted to go back and play the first chapter. You had to put disc 1 back in because disc 1 had chapters like 1 through 5 on it, and disc 2 had chapters 6 through 10.
What game is this?
Castlevania Lords of Shadow is what we're
I'll
talking
show it to you
about.
tonight.
Good God. Okay.
But
So we get the point. We don't like discs.
the other thing,
Listen, what I do, I don't buy hard copies anymore.
I'm not doing that anymore.
I don't buy hard copies anymore. I'm
finally.
strictly
Dude,
digital.
even if I have the hard copy, I'll buy
I'll buy the digital
Just so
to
I don't
get
have
rid
to
of-
See,
do that.
remember when you bought me Doom?
Yeah.
For Christmas or my birthday?
Yeah.
What it did, it gave me the Steam ID. I put the disc in and it downloads it, but it gives me the Steam ID. So even if I take it off my PC, delete it,
Yeah.
I can just re-upload it.
you
from
can
Steam.
re-download it later.
I don't have to have it. I can throw that disc away and I'll be fine.
But what if I just like going to GameStop and you know, and being
That's for people like the angry video game.
No,
like to
I worked at
stack the
GameStop
walls
7.5
up
years.
No,
and
that's for him. This dude likes the physical discount.
He-
Not anymore.
said that he
not
finally
anymore. I'm
stopped.
done. I'm done.
Done with the man
Yes.
cave? Okay.
Well, I still have all my 360 games. I have all my old Super Nintendo and stuff. But as far as my one goes, I won't buy a physical copy if I can avoid
But are
it.
you one of those guys that like doesn't like to, like people are like, oh, I want to get the original Earthbound and play it on old CRTV and Super Nintendo. I'm like, why don't you just download it?
I
on
actually
Xbox?
have the original Earthbound.
I know.
But are you still like that? Is what we're
But
asking.
what if you
No,
didn't? Would
no.
you rather have the Super Nintendo, actual Super Nintendo with a Super Nintendo controller on an old TV, or would you rather just download it onto the Wii and play it like that?
If I had the
Emulator.
Wii U and stuff, the emulators work for some things, but there's some things that just
Like what?
the nostalgic thing of holding the original controller. I still do like
You know,
that.
there's a way of playing the original controller on a PC.
Yeah, I know that, but I guess that's me touching back roots to some good times I had with my friends, with y'all.
That's like way too much work to do.
I-
that, though.
I know.
don't- the payoff is not enough.
Hey, if he's worth it, I mean, whatever, but not for me. But look,
The only thing I didn't like going back to that way when we were talking about was the original PlayStation multi-tap. Hated that thing. Nobody in their right mind would automatically know, let's see, plug this into controller 2, I have controller 1, and then if you want controller 2, you got to put that one in the first port of the multiplayer. I hated that stuff.
Yeah, it's like plugging, what do you call it, to get more power outlets, you plug it into a surge protector or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like plugging that in to get more outlets.
I hated that. You know, I think
N64
when they
made
came
a
out,
huge
when they
difference
made
with
the
that.
multi-port, I think that was the greatest thing ever. Putting that on the system. Well, we make games mandatory 4 players. Well, there's 4 ports there. There you go. Have fun.
And that, every system that came out since then, almost every system, not PlayStation 2, they didn't do it. Dreamcast did it, Xbox did it, and let's see, I guess 360 did it too, didn't they? They have like,
Yeah.
Well, you could link up to 4 controllers.
yeah, they had 4 USBs.
Yep.
Wii U 5. But look, but the thing about it, or 8 with the new Mario Smash, you can do 8-player Smash. But then, the cool thing about it is like when let's say like you're playing 2 or 3 player AKI wrestling game. To go back to what we were talking about before we got on a tangent.
Yeah. Well,
You
that-
plug
that
an extra
happens.
controller in. What happens? You take over the manager.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, press start,
shit
right?
that's the kind of stuff that happens when you got an extra controller port, and that pissed off Justin so bad. He came over. You could make your own belt and stuff, so we made like the hardcore belt or something. You could trade the titles to memory cards, and Justin goes to fight me, and Josh takes over as the manager, and we're just like double team beating the shit. It's like, well, this isn't fair. It's like it's hardcore, and he gets so pissed off he just leaves and goes home, and I get to keep the belt from his memory card that's worth absolutely nothing except for his tears and the joy I get from knowing Justin went home crying. I just want that on record. I just want to be able to put that out for the world to know. But anyway, okay, so we like a party game. So we're talking the wrestling games.
Yeah.
We're talking Mario Kart. So Mark, that's when you did the battle mode because the Grand Prix or whatever the racing sucked because if you played 4
Because
players,
there's no
all the other-
CPU,
yeah, the music and all the wrestlers and objects like disappear, like the train at the train level disappears.
Yeah.
So everybody played the battle mode, and that was fun.
And we always went to what level?
Man, the one with the towers.
Block level.
We played the other one.
That was the best block level. When they try to recreate the block level, like on the Wii or the Wii U, I don't know if they did.
Did you
on
play
Wii.
Battle on Wii?
Yeah, I tried it out. It sucked.
Oh, the racing was just so much more fun.
Yeah, Mario Kart on the N64 The battle mode, that was the only one that had a fun battle mode. Battle mode on every other Mario Kart sucks.
So you've tried all those, okay?
Yeah, I played quite a few of them, and I'm with Matt on that one.
Yeah.
I always loved playing the battle mode when we
Okay.
always played like that.
And speaking of battling, it had Smash. The first Smash came out on 64.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
And then you had what else? did
Yeah,
you have?
I
Mario
always-
Party.
Mario Party was
My,
fun.
my favorite thing from all of those games like that was unlocking everything.
Man,
I know you did. You come over. We had that. We had like a GameCube in the closet and TV, so I could just play Morrowind on my Xbox, and I'd open it up, and he'd be in there like. It's like, you're still in there working hard? I'm still unlocking characters. Okay, then I close the door. Make sure. Like, I got him in there, like, working on the engine or something.
You need anything? No, I'm good.
Dude, that dude would stay up till like 5 a.m. One time, we were all making fun of his character on Gauntlet. We were all playing together.
Yeah,
He was
I
a
remember
dwarf, and
that.
we were so much powerful, making fun. So we all go to bed. That dude makes a new character, stays up all night, levels it up, past all our characters, and it's not even fun anymore because he's so high level the game's not even a challenge. I'm like, man, never make fun of Justin again, or I'll ruin the game for you.
What's up? Can't keep up, guys?
Yeah, so it had a lot of fun games on there that were like multiplayer. They had the wrestling games. You had Mario Kart. You had Smash. You had what else did we say was
We
on
said
there?
Mario Party.
Mario Party.
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. Wait, how did I forget
Yeah.
that? And
GoldenEye, man, we wasted countless hours playing GoldenEye.
Wasted. I don't know about that.
Dude, okay, I loved. People was like
Aztec.
People were like, what's so fun about GoldenEye
Facility.
multiplayer? What's so fun about GoldenEye multiplayer? Like, I'm gonna tell you something.
Odd job.
Yeah. Okay, it's got things that are fun that you still can't do to this day in any of the gameplay. The capture the flag was like oddball, like whoever held it the longest. But you're all looking at each other's screens, all right? So I would look at the bottom so you can tell. I'd go hide in the bathroom.
And
there's
look at the ground.
There's no multiplayer game I've played recently that I know of with a bathroom with stall doors you can open. So I go in a stall door, I put proximity mines in every one of the stall doors except for the one I'm in. So if you guess the wrong stall door, you're dead. And that was so fun. You haven't done that in the game
I
since.
always liked it in Facility where you could glitch the game and spin around on the toilet and go up in the little cubby hole. And I'd be like, where the hell is he? We can't find him.
He likes
He's
game-
up in the hole.
He likes game breaking stuff that's not even fair anymore.
But that was the games that started it. We found these things without the help of internet. It was one friend that was tired of dying would go and do something stupid and be like, where am I?
I didn't like that kind of stuff. I liked knowing exactly what you could do. I mean, I understand what's cool about it. You can find stuff nobody else knows about because now you know all the secret characters before the game even comes out. And back then, you're like, oh my god, unlock! Oh my god! Well, that was cool. But here's another thing I hate. Matt would go to school with some piece of shit that just moved from another town, and how are they going to make their reputation? Lying about stuff in video games. They tell Matt, hey, you can unlock...
Sonic and...
you can unlock Sonic and Smash. Did you know you can unlock Goldberg? And,
Well, that was also in a magazine, remember?
It was the April Fool's joke. We found out later.
Okay, well, that too. People would say, like, hey, you can unlock Goldberg in WrestleMania 2000 or something.
Yeah,
Like,
we
that's
used to
not
try
even-
that for hours.
But that's
being
not
like-
even... That wouldn't even work. That would be illegal. Like, WWF,
Well,
like,
there
WCW would
was
sue them for
there
that.
was one game.
Wrestling game where this guy was... It was that Gerard dude. His older brother's a doctor now, Jackson.
Oh, that dude? That's
Yeah.
the dude who told you that?
Like, listen, but he actually told me one that was true one time. Warzone, the wrestling game that we thought was cool at first, and eventually
Yeah,
we hated it.
eventually stopped.
There was a code where you can get the wrestler to come out and non-stop kick the other dude's ass, but you lose a match.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
right
it was
about
like
that.
it was like the worthless thing. It's like, hey, it's just you quit, but you make a guy come out and fight.
I remember this is one that me and you we wasted all day trying to do, and it was in Smash Brothers where you had to do that where you fought the little outline characters, had to get to wave 100 on like survival, and we'd get to like 98 and die and be like shit and start over because they told us we would unlock a hidden character, and we finally got to like wave 101 and we're like we didn't get shit.
Yeah, I forgot who they told me I could unlock in Warzone. Maybe like Goldberg or something. I knew it was stupid, but I tried it anyway. And you had to beat it on the hardest mode with like every character without losing. So I beat it with every character there was in a row without turning the game off, without losing one match. And I didn't get anything. And it would suck because you'd be halfway there and then you die. Fuck, I gotta start all the way over. You unlock nothing. And nobody likes the campaign mode of a wrestling game. And no story.
Teenage goals, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, while other kids are like becoming like the first, they're over there like discovering like how to like make some kind of new like electronic device that's like way past its time, or inventing Napster or something.
I thought you
Or
were about to say
like-
why other kids are getting dates, trying to
or
get
get or
third
yeah,
base.
or
and all
let's
that
say
stuff.
just actually losing your virginity.
We're all sitting around going, well, we're going to get to wave 100 on this damn game.
Yeah, then wondering how come I don't have a girlfriend. I wonder why. So all that stuff, your Star Fox 64, that
I was about
multiplayer
to
was
name
actually
that.
fun.
Yeah, that was fun. The
Yeah.
multiplayer was pretty fun.
As long as you didn't get the little guy running around on foot, that sucked.
You had to unlock that. You could
Yeah, I
hit-
know, and it sucked if
Actually,
you
it was kind of fun because like you could, it'd be so hard to hit that person sometimes unless you're. Pretty
That's the
good.
thing that started the whole on foot thing. You know, they started adding it again. It's like, no, why don't you just have him in the vehicle doing it the whole time? Why do you want to be on your feet?
The thing I have issues with modern shooters compared to what I thought was so much fun in the old game is, everything's got to be balanced now. Well, this guy's got this hitbox, so he has to have the same one, even though he's a big character. He's got the same hitbox as the smaller character. Man, when we played old GoldenEye, somebody picked Odd Job, aka me. I picked him all the time.
I did too.
And all you have to do as Odd Job is crouch and run around and hit people in the kneecap.
Yeah, I always won, but then I didn't think, that's the why I won. I thought Jaws would be cool at first. No,
But
Jaws
he was
is
so
the worst.
huge, he had a huge
Yeah,
hitbox.
he's the worst.
But that's the big difference
We always
between
play
games now.
like proximity mines, time mines, remote mines.
Man with
We
the
love
golden
mines.
gun.
Yeah, we did it some. And
I just love that every time you kill somebody.
I mean, I love the single player of the game. I love that. I earned every cheat. I beat up every difficulty.
That's when you put a lot of freaking effort into a game. GoldenEye. They did so much for the campaign and so much for the multiplayer.
Well, then I talked
And not to mention the hidden levels that they added. Are trying to unlock all the Easter egg stuff.
Yeah,
by
there's like that game. It was hard to unlock everything, and it was like once you beat it, it's like, all right, we got a few extras for you. Can you make it to that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then they had like stuff that just made it like even more epic. Just the idea, like there's those extra things that aren't in the game, but you can see them. Like in the first level, you can look off and see that thing. There's a boat built for to go out to.
Yeah,
And
the
you can
the
see
little
it.
island out
let
there.
me tell you something. Okay, if you have the inkling to play that game still,
I have it.
Hold on, they get a PC version.
It fixes all the old stuff, right?
Yeah, it's the old game, so it's not like somebody else redid the game. It's the game, but you can play it with a controller and play dual joysticks, and it's more than 4 players, and they have all the original levels. Yeah, and they just kind of fixed it to where it's more modern. It's like GoldenEye something. I forget what it is, but I can find it and tag it to this podcast.
I'll challenge you right now. I went back and played GoldenEye here recently. I'm like, I'm gonna run through and get all the achievements kind of things, all the Easter eggs again. Man, I forgot how hard it is to aim using arrow keys.
I got good. I went back and earned them again. I
Yeah,
went back
but-
and earned the hardest one, the one where the second level was
Facility?
Yeah,
The facility one was a pain because at the end you just have to run.
well, it's randomized. It's like if the guy's not at that one part, then you're screwed.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta do it all
remember
over
that.
again.
I remember
The
that.
doctor, and then all these other doctors have to not get killed, and you're running the whole time.
It's actually really fun because you're leaving mines behind you and you're blowing up all these guys at once, and you're trying to get past there as quick as possible. And it tests you. You didn't know what you could do till they give you those like because there's one level. It took me an hour to beat. I hid in this corner and killed like at least 100 guys that would come in this room and all this kind of stuff. And then it's like, okay, beat you an hour to that level. Okay, if you want to earn a cheat, you got to beat it in 2 minutes and 32 seconds. What the hell? And then like, oh wow, I can actually beat this amazingly quick if I just do these 2 things. It's like, what if I did my whole life like that?
I remember the one level that it was always the first secret that everybody unlocked. It's the one where you run to the plane,
Yeah.
and the first time you play it, you're
third
like,
level? Oh, that's the easiest
you're,
one.
you're
Yeah.
like, you're like, all right, let me be careful and look
DK
around
mode.
every corner,
That's what it was.
and then you're like, wait, you mean I could have just ran to the plane?
Yeah, all you do is just run. That's it. Because
It's like
There's no
they
other
don't even
missions.
shoot me.
Yeah, there's no other missions. Like if you put on Double A's, you got to build all this extra stuff in there.
And here's the thing about GoldenEye. Like, I love that game so much. I was like, okay, I'd never seen a James Bond movie before. Just because it's the same thing in Empire Strikes Back for Super Nintendo. I'd never watched a Star Wars movie when I was in 5th grade. I was like, this game's pretty cool. I need to watch the movies. I was like, oh God, why haven't I watched these? These are the best things ever. So I did that with GoldenEye. So I go and watch the movie GoldenEye. Grandma watches it with us, and she won't let me. She covers my eyes every time he makes out with the girls. I can't see this, but he's murdering people.
Yeah,
it's not even nudity.
America's fine with violence. We're just not okay with sex.
Yeah. With violence where he doesn't even feel bad about killing a guy, makes a joke. But anyway, the guy falls into a printing press, blood goes everywhere. Oh, I'm very impressed. Oh my god. But anyway, I'm watching Tomorrow Never Dies, and I'm looking at it the whole way. I'm like, okay, that'll be a level. That'll be a level. Okay, what kind of missions could you put in here? Okay, that'll be a kind of a boss.
Did you ever play any of the sequels?
Oh, I tried.
I did too. They're horrible.
And it was so disappointing. I was so excited about another GoldenEye. I mean, they made Perfect Dark. It's cool.
But it didn't feel the same. It didn't feel the same.
They had some improvements. So the counter op. That's pretty neat
they
concept.
had a lot of improvements. I just liked the atmosphere that James Bond, the music and the kind of nuance and stuff to it. And the Perfect Dark, I'd had to get all over into it.
Like I said, I went back and I tracked down a bunch of the games we played as kids on the original systems because it's what I wanted. When I lived in Texas, I hit up a bunch of retro game stores or I hit flea markets. I picked some of these things up for pennies. But there were games I went back and played and I was like, what happened to these characters?
Yeah, go back and play Mario Kart 64 and see how that holds up.
Go back and play Mario RPG. There are characters in that game. What the hell ever happened to Mello?
Oh, yeah, Mallow. Geno's super popular. He's got a cult following.
Yeah, but he's only in one game ever.
I know. You remember Booster?
Yeah.
He's like a Wario ripoff. He's got that
Booster. Wait a minute.
He's trying to marry the princess, and he's got that big house where all the Shy Guys and Sniffets live at.
I don't remember him. I remember the mellow guy. I remember the poking Pinocchio-looking dude.
Super Mario RPG, man. That's one of my favorite RPGs. I beat it twice.
I remember going back playing Super Mario Brothers 2 and going, whatever happened to Mauser and the Shy Guys and the Beedrolls?
Tri-Clyde. I always thought they'd be cool characters to add to
Birdo.
Mario Kart. Imagine Mario Kart.
All they kept from that was Birdo and Shy Guy.
Yeah, dude. And they kept a couple.
King Wart, remember that? And Mauser. Yeah. Mauser was a big character in the cartoon.
Well, and the cartoon came out, it was right after Part 2, so it was mostly based off of Part 2, which is the game that they almost try to distance themselves completely from.
Well, it wasn't even a Mario game. It was apparently some Japanese game. They just stuck Mario characters in.
Well, no, actually, it was started out as a Mario game. Then they changed it into that. Then they changed it back into Mario. But in Mario Kart, imagine if Tri-Clyde was a character. So you'd have
that
two
three-headed snake guy
steering the wheel, and then one of them watching. I think that'd be, or one of them
that'd be hilarious.
I know, that's a cool character. Put him in there, but they want to act like it never happened, just like Stallone wants to act like Rocky V never happened. But so imagine. So this is how much we're talking about. We obviously love Nintendo games.
Yeah. Well, that's our core right there.
Yeah, Microsoft wasn't helping us out back then, so. We played that, but I talked to guys who were 5, 7, 10 years older than us, and they don't get what we're into because they were old enough to have their own thing. They were playing computers. They were those guys playing Doom on dial-up and stuff. They were playing Quake System Link while we were playing GoldenEye all in our house. So they look at us playing these console GoldenEye games. It's they're Half-Life already did this way before. They thought.
Oh shit, we didn't know about that.
Yeah, we didn't have it. We were lucky to have what we had.
Yeah.
In Warren, Arkansas.
And more especially, I remember the days when somebody would get a new console or a couple consoles would come out and we'd be like, what do we want to get? Do you want the N64 or do you want the Jaguar?
Oh, yeah, I would think the Jaguar's going to be better.
I bought the Jaguar.
You did?
No, I remember you got it from that kid.
I got it I traded Robert, or not, no,
your neighbor?
No, yeah, he lived behind
that little trailer.
And I traded him, I think a Super Nintendo or something for it.
But basically, Justin took advantage of his kid.
Justin, you take advantage of him.
Well, I traded him, and then he's like...
my dad said I got to give
I'm like, sorry.
Yeah, Justin's like,
So I ended up...
And then I think his dad tried to come over, and Robert, your uncle, came over there? He's like, oh, hell no, motherfucker.
But I ended up trading the Jaguar and got an N64 for it.
Yeah.
And you were talking about you should just be on Craigslist all the way there, just trading stuff. This guy's got freaking Pawn Stars things going on over there. Wait, what did you trade for the Jaguar?
Like a Super Nintendo or something.
And then he traded the Jaguar for an N64.
That guy actually got off better with the Super Nintendo than a Jaguar.
Yeah, he kind of did.
And he had like 3 games with it. I remember the only game I remember actually playing that was even remotely good was Eternal Champions on it.
Oh wow, and it was really bad.
Yeah,
That
was
was
the
on there?
worst.
I thought that was a Sega exclusive.
No, it came out on Jaguar.
That game
You had a
sucked.
guy with a trench coat and like a grappling
a
hook.
a gymnast and some ogre-looking thing.
Oh, it was bad.
some guy that looked like Blade or something.
That was like when they were learning how to make fighting games.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
back when
horrible.
Pit Fighter and stuff was a game.
I have that on Sega
well,
Genesis.
don't tell anybody.
Hey, by the way, I found a
Well, it's already
picture.
podcast,
I found
right?
a picture of Saturday Night Slay Masters 2. Look at these characters.
Look, it's Cthulhu.
Wraith. Okay, you got it. Man, they went all out. You got a character shooting like 5 snakes out of his face.
Barbed wire for the ropes.
Wow, Saber. And this is a game we need to make right there. Like I do it in the
It's like Street Fighter, but it's like no.
Wrestling.
I don't like the way it looks in the background as much though. It looks like it too much like fighting or something like game, not as much wrestling. The one we play, it looks like an actual
It was,
wrestling.
well, it was a ring, and you could go up
Yeah.
and down, and you could
had
it
an
was
audience.
Well, it was hard as hell, but remember, you could knock people out of the ring or
Oh,
get
yeah.
out of the ring. But then we spent forever trying to figure out how to get back in the
Oh,
ring.
yeah. I remember.
And we found out you could only get back in the ring. You had to go down to one of the corner posts, and that was the only way it'd let you back in the ring.
Oh,
Even
okay.
though they knocked you out the middle.
I don't even remember. But see, that's why I liked Nintendo 64 so much. Just like the stuff we're talking about, all these Super Nintendo games, but it had the wrestling games, it had Star Fox, it had Mario. Like the one player, I loved Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, Conker's Bad Fur Day. I had so much fun with those. PlayStation, I had fun with a few of the Final Fantasy games, like Tactics and Part 7 and Part 9. And then I had Metal Gear Solid was okay. I didn't love it as much as everybody else did. I didn't play the Resident Evils like you guys did. And
Yeah,
then,
me and Matt played them all the time.
yeah, I mean, I played the fighting games like Tekken 3 and Soul Blade, and I played Vigilante 8 and Twisted Metal 2. I had a lot of fun on them, but I just remember having way more fun on Nintendo 64.
I bought a PlayStation after going to Sam's house and playing Resident Evil for the first time. I'm like, oh, gotta buy me a PlayStation now.
Man,
Oh, the first one?
This
Yep.
dude, this dude wanted that game forever before it even came out. I remember him just looking at pictures of the game.
And, it took me a while before I got one. So when I finally got it, I got part 1 and 2, but I got the DualShock version.
Yeah.
They had extra
You
content.
talking about Director's Cut?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they had the extra stuff. And, we're playing it and we're like, that's not supposed to be there.
And see, that's what you kids don't. We had to buy a whole new game just for what is DLC for everybody now.
But
When special edition comes out and all that.
But
Yeah,
the
special
worst part
edition,
was-
we buy the whole game over again.
But they didn't
It's like-
tell you it had more stuff. So when you
Director's
buy it,
Cut?
well, no, like the DualShock versions when they came out, where DualShock Resident Evil 2 DualShock version, right, had the EX mode at the end.
I didn't know.
And-
I didn't know they remade a
Yeah,
part
they
two.
did a DualShock version back when. Remember, they did that special release later on with the controller had the DualShock and the
Yeah.
first ones didn't. Well, they added more stuff to the game even after the director's cut, and I remember playing it, and we used to play it all the time. And I got to the end of it, and I unlocked the CX mode, which was kind of like Mercenaries mode. And I asked Matt, I'm like, do you have this EX mode? And Matt's like, what's EX mode? And we were playing it on that one, and it took years to find out that you couldn't unlock it in the originals. It was only a DualShock version thing. Because I had save files for the DualShock version that wouldn't work on my original games.
I don't know anything about that. I don't recall. But N64 is not only good for the multiplayer stuff, but as you were mentioning, there's Ocarina of Time, Mario, Banjo-Kazooie. But then some games like Turok was kind of a groundbreaking game at the time.
I thought it was good at the time.
I did too
Until I played GoldenEye, I was like, oh, wow.
Right,
yeah.
I never wanted to play Turok again after that. Remember Turok 2? You beat first
Seeds
level, you
of
thought
Evil.
you beat the game?
Oh.
That was the longest first level of all time.
How
Yeah,
many levels are on that game? Like 6?
2 or 3.
Like 7
Really?
levels.
I don't
And
even
are they all about
remember
that length?
Dude, yes. They are long and they are hard. And, they are
And save points are
confusing.
like very far
They're
apart.
really
yeah.
far away.
Confusing.
I remember being over here when Steve beat one of the things in Seeds of Evil, and it's where you go from that jungle area into that next area.
Yeah.
And Steve's like, "Oh, I'm done with the game," and he set the controller down, and another screen loaded up, and he goes, "What?"
All you did was get to like the hub world, when you beat that first part. Like, oh my god!
Games aren't like that anymore.
The multiplayer was weird. Like, I've never seen a game do this. When you play you can choose the texture of every level you go to. You can choose whether you want it out of like 5 or 7 different textures on that game.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
What kind of texture are you talking about? What do you mean?
Like, it would say catacomb texture. Like, you could choose any level. You could choose like 10 levels, but it said like, what textures do you want it to be?
Do you remember when Turok made an all multiplayer game for 64?
Yeah, Rage Wars. That's what it was.
I do remember
Did you
that.
play
game.
that?
I didn't
Yeah,
play
Zach,
it. though.
our brother,
Yeah.
he had that.
I didn't
when
play
we
that
went
one.
up there
Yeah.
that one summer. we
Well, that's
played
back. That's like towards the end of 64's life
it.
cycle.
It still wasn't really.
I got
the
Turok
aiming is
1 and
like-
2
it's still
on my
really
N64
weird.
now.
You're not going to want to play him at all.
No.
They're just going to beat him like this for
Well, a lot of these, I got a Sega Genesis from a guy, and
Yeah.
I got my N64 from a guy, and
Not from girls.
no, they were guys. But the catch with it is he sold me a Sega and a whole bag full of games for like $20.
It sounds like a Magic Bean story.
No, it's actually one of the old guys I worked at GameStop. Chris Richardson was his name, and
Name dropping.
yeah, but he sold me a Sega Genesis for like $20-$30, and it had like a bunch of games with it. And there was another guy that worked at GameStop that I bought my
Captain Redbeard.
no that I got my N64 from, and he gave me like 10 games with it.
Yeah, well, you always get them with the games. Nobody ever just gives you the system.
Oh,
without the game.
I can't believe I just thought of a game we forgot to mention. I don't know how we didn't.
I knew
mention
there was one.
Diddy Kong Racing.
I remember
Yes.
that one.
I love that one. Man, that was like, that's underrated right there. Like,
Yeah.
the one where you steal the eggs from each other, that was one of the most fun.
Yes, that game type is so cool.
You know what's the weirdest thing? You could unlock a co-op. Like, why wouldn't it just be an option from the beginning? You had to unlock
I don't
a
think I ever
co-op.
unlocked co-op.
But, okay, so...
I think I have that game,
Dude, okay.
They
co-op-
remade it for the DS.
Dude,
but I think I still have it on the N64.
okay, so the game has a story mode, which is the weirdest thing ever. It's not much of a story, but there is one. So there's this one thing...
WizPig, right?
Well, yeah, all that kind of stuff we have to unlock and stuff. It's like a hub world and everything. So you go in there, and you're like having to race and stuff. You have to win the race to like get passes or whatever to get a key. But then it gets harder. Okay, now not only do you have to win the race, you have to get all these like collectible things on the way during the race and make first place. So I'm like, okay, if we get co-op, it's going to be easier because I got me and Matt can collect those things on the way to race, right? No. You both have to get the same amount. So if I get 8 and he only gets 6 of the 8,
You failed it.
We failed. We both are responsible. So it was like, oh, no wonder they hid this thing away. It's
Nobody
terrible.
wants to do this.
Yes.
That was a fun game. I really liked that. And
It's
it
cool.
had these boss battles too.
It's like, yeah,
race
you race a
battles.
boss. There's got hovercrafts versus planes versus cars. It's got to be kind of hard to balance all that with all the shortcuts and stuff.
I liked how
Good
Nintendo
music.
always did unlockables like that.
Yeah.
Because every game now has unlockables. But
Yeah.
it doesn't feel the same as it did back in the day. When you unlocked something back then, it was like, man, I actually accomplished something. Now, there's all these shortcuts to doing it, or there's cheats for it, and you don't feel the same gratification as unlocking all the characters in Smash Brothers now. Now it just doesn't feel the same to me. Like, I
When you buy them, it doesn't feel the same as unlocking them. When you,
Yeah.
buy Ryu, it doesn't feel the same. It's $8.99 on my credit card. It doesn't feel the same as doing this arena mode or whatever.
they just got rid of the whole. Oh, this stuff's hidden in the game. It's like microtransactions.
Isn't it kind of weird that you unlock Cloud instead of a character who's actually from a Nintendo Final Fantasy game? You know, like, I don't know, Terra from Final Fantasy VI or Cecil or Kane from Final Fantasy IV. You think you'd unlock them, you know?
But you unlock some random thing.
No, you unlock Cloud, who was never in a Nintendo
He's
Final
PlayStation.
Fantasy for
Is
Smash
he on the
Bros.
new one, I guess?
Smash Brothers? Yeah,
See,
you can buy him.
I didn't know that.
You can buy Ryu.
That's why
Street
when you
Fighter.
were saying Cloud and stuff, I'm like, which one? When was he in it?
You played Final
Fantasy
Fantasy
VII.
VII, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I know
he's in
who he is, but I'm saying I didn't know
You
he
want
was
to talk
in
about a game
Smash
that doesn't
Brothers.
hold up? I bet if you try to go back and play Final Fantasy VII, you're gonna be like, oh wow, no
I-
wonder they're rebooting
Remember,
this game.
Josh played that like when we first got that house together.
Yeah.
He played through it. He played through.
I
think,
remember
part
coming
9
home-
also.
I remember coming home from school before I had a PlayStation, and can't wait to come over to y'all's house when y'all lived in the trailer over here, and be like, I'm just gonna watch him play Final Fantasy all day.
Yeah.
I remember I'd bring it over a weekend, let Justin play it, and I just kind of sitting with him, watching him play it.
Because y'all were already farther up than me, and then I would come over and watch just to get the story. I would watch it with y'all, and I'm like, oh, man. And I'd come back, like, miss the day of coming over here. You're, like, on something else, and it's like, oh, yeah, this is disc number 3. Wait, there's a third disc?
On the third disc, there's barely anything left.
It's all
That's
when
how
you're
every
doing-
game is with disc. The last disc is always just like I think they just put it on there just to be impressive or something. Oh, there's one more. I always liked having somebody watch me play. It always felt kind of cool to have like an audience to play. That was like Twitch before Twitch when you had your friend come over and watch you play.
Did you guys like Bomberman 64?
No,
I like the
hated that.
old ones, though.
Some people liked it though. Like I think Nick liked it.
I took it and re-downloaded. You know how Xbox 360 did the
Bomberman?
two Bombermans?
Yeah.
I downloaded them. And I got all the bomb packs and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is just like playing the old one.
But dude, are games as fun for you to play as they used to be? Do you feel like they're just like they're better in your head to go play in, but when you get home and you start playing them, like, oh, it's just not as fun. It's just when I was a kid, I
don't get drawn in as much to a game. Where as a kid, I could sit there from the moment I got home from school at 3 o'clock and play until 10 or 11 o'clock at night and be like, oh shit.
Because I was so bad at school and life when I was a kid because all I would do is be in my head thinking about video games and fantasy stuff all day.
You'd have your notebook out there like drawing Battletoads or something on
That's
it.
all I did all day. I just
Ignore everything the teacher's saying, just draw.
I was in football and all I would do like on the trips and the games and practice, all I would do is sit there on the side because I never got to play until I was like senior. And then I would just sit there and oh man, I can't wait till this Hampton or Hamburg game is over and we drive back home and I'm going to get on that Nintendo 64 or whatever. I just can't wait. That's all I would think about all the time.
The only thing I think has been great about the evolution of video games is now when you go home and you've got your games and stuff, you don't have to pull out a drawer and be like, oh, I got 12 memory cards now. Which one has that fucking game on it?
Well, the things I like more is like I could talk with my friends online all the time.
Yeah.
Because you never get to see them anymore.
But I remember we would have like 6, 7 memory cards, and we'd have stickers determining which ones were what.
Oh,
well, this one has Gong on it, and this one.
You can label it. Yep.
And then if you deleted something off of it and put something else on, you got all these little scribble marks on your memory card like, yep, that game's not on there anymore.
Now all the thing you got is just an external hard drive to keep all the games you've downloaded.
Yeah, everything's got to be installed. And that's the reason I went away from the whole physical copies of the game. You buy the physical copy of the game, and
You
the
still have to
convenience,
install
you
it.
still got to install it. You're spending 5, 6 hours to install it because it still has to be there.
And it's the thing, if you lose the disc and you have it installed, you can't do anything with it. Why not just install it? Even if it takes a little bit more memory, just buy more memory.
Yeah, I'd rather just download it. And the biggest
And I'm so
thing,
lazy now. It feels weird. I don't even want to get up and change things. I just want it in there.
Yeah.
You know? So that's
And a lot of games now are cheaper for the digital copies because you can catch the sale at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, if, say you're over there playing a game and you're like, hey, Justin, come on, jump on this game. And I'm like, well, I don't have it. Well, it's on Xbox Marketplace for $10. Yeah, but I like the physical copy. And I'll look it up online and it'd be like, it's $20 at Walmart. Screw that, I'm paying $10 for it.
or it's just free because Xbox gives us free
Yeah,
games
but-
once a month.
That's how half my library is now.
Oh.
I got that Wrestling 2016. I got Sunset Overdrive. I got all these for free.
Is that Sunset Riders sequel?
No.
Did you guys ever get into battle tanks?
I like the first one.
I
The
told-
very first one on the N64.
It looks cool.
I know, and that's I saw really good ratings on GamePro.
Yeah.
So that's that they have those dry.
That looked like the N64 kind of.
That was a game that me and Nick
Twisted
and
Metal.
Oscar
Well,
played.
yeah, and you know how you had those dry periods in game stuff. Like after Halo 1, we were like, okay, what other game is there? We'd find a game every now and then. You'd find your like Morrowind or your Knights of the Republic or Mech Assault, but there was only a few games. And I remember in 64, it was like, there's no good games right now. And then 64, even when they had a good game, it looked kind of shitty. Like just 64, like Battle Tanks, it looks like when you make a game, it looked like there was like a lot of fog and a lot of like.
And
blank
that's what they did.
spaces.
They did a lot of big buildings that isolated where you could
and
go.
a lot of just blank stuff. So the games always seemed unfinished. But I heard good stuff about it, so I'm on this church trip.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, was it Walker Johnson's like, what game should I get? I was like, man, I heard a lot of good stuff about Battle Tanks. So he buys it. And I hadn't seen him in a little while. And I was like, dude, how the game turned out? I heard really good ratings about it. It's like
it's supposed to be a fun multiplayer game. He's like, dude, that's like the worst game I ever bought. I can't believe you told me to buy that. I was like, I feel like shit.
I didn't mind it, but the problem was
I didn't mind it. It was the worst review of a game ever. I didn't mind it.
The thing, how the game was set up, is there were clans.
There were what?
It was like clans or gangs that drove around in tanks.
Why is that bad?
Let me explain it to you.
Okay.
Each clan had their own sets of tanks. And like
of tanks?
Sets.
Oh, okay.
Like there were heavy armored tanks that were slow, big, powerful, did a lot of damage. And then there were these like little scout tanks which were like
faster but weaker.
Yeah, but they were like four-wheelers. That's all they did. They took one hit to kill. But you could move around and hit. But there was one clan in the game called like the Nuclear Warthogs or something. And everybody had their own special weapon that they could use.
Yeah.
Well, the strongest weapon in the game was a nuke. You threw it out, you drove really far away from it, and it would blow up real big. And it was a nuke. They started out with it.
So they're overpowered.
Yeah, like instantly. What you would do is you would pick one of the little fast guys, right?
Yeah.
You would have him with that nuke. You drive up to the guys in the big tank that couldn't move fast. The ones that took like 50 hits to kill.
Nearby,
you throw the damn nuke on them and then drive off, and they couldn't get away in time, and you beat the whole team.
So that's what the problem was with that series.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one cool thing about 64 is it also had like some first-person shooter games that you get to. I always wanted to try like Duke Nukem. That came out, Duke Nukem 64.
Yeah.
I had a lot of. They had the co-op mode, which is cool about that. And then they also had the multiplayer mode, which was kind of neat, but.
But if you talk to that Rob guy, he's just going to tell you, like, you should have just had a computer and played on
well,
that.
We didn't have that.
We couldn't do that.
We didn't have that. And more especially here, with freaking dial-up internet, no, that wasn't happening.
And then also they made a game which was very underrated. And it came out at the same time as Turok, which was Doom 64.
Yeah.
That game is such a good game. And right now they have the beta version out. Doom 64... Brutal Doom 64 is what I mean to say.
I saw that.
That looks so cool. I'm very, very excited about that game. That game was so freaking cool. It's scary as fuck. That is one of the scariest Dooms out there.
So you're talking about scary games, that game.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't think of Doom scary. It's like, oh no, I don't think about that. It's like, dude, when I was younger, Doom was pretty scary. Some of the levels and some of the textures they had.
When I watched Matt play Doom on Super Nintendo, it scared me how terrible those graphics were on a Super Nintendo. I was like, Matt, I fear for Matt's eyesight having to look at those pixels.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was like the worst looking Doom.
And when
you know you want to play Doom bad when you play on that. It's like when I heard Street Fighter 2 was on the original Nintendo.
See, and I remember playing games like that were like terrifying games. And it was the games that you would call a friend over and be like, Matt, you're staying the night with me tonight because we're going to play this game.
That's how I was with Resident Evil for GameCube. I played that remake. I was like, man, somebody come over right now. When those hunters started just bursting in rooms at any point in the game, I was like, man, I definitely need help.
I go back playing things like this or watching movies that we watched as kids going like, man, I want to feel that way again. I want to go back to that time. I went back and watched Demonic Toys. I remember the first time we ever watched it, me and Matt were out in the woods by ourselves in a trailer. And we watched this movie and we're like, that movie was scary as shit. I went back and watched it. I'm like, this is really bad.
I like how every story is with us in a trailer. You know we're in Arkansas.
Yeah, right.
So here we are in a trailer.
We all live in a house now, but
and like
back then it was
bad
trailers.
parenting too. His mom, we thought it was like cool parenting at the time. His mom just like leaves us out there. She goes to a bar. Here's 3 pizzas, 5 movies, and like 5 video games.
Man, best parents ever.
And the first thing we did is like, let's go see if we can unscramble the porn channel.
Oh yeah.
One time I was over there. I don't know if there's something that happened to glitch, or maybe your uncle or somebody ordered it and just it was still going on for the rest of it. But that's the first time I ever saw that stuff.
Yeah, with no.
It changed my life.
Yeah.
I'd never seen anything like that in my life.
I remember one movie that we watched. You were over there that night. The Legend of Boggy Creek.
I never saw that. I heard of it.
Was that? It was me and somebody else.
I don't know.
And it was
That's
like
an old Arkansas
it was like
monster story.
yeah, it was like Bigfoot.
It's like a swamp. It's like a swamp thing meets Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Out here. You know,
But that demonic toys, and the worst part of that one, me and Matt watched that one.
We were still playing with toys at that time,
Yeah,
which we
we-
shouldn't have been. We were too
But-
old to be playing
Well,
with toys.
that's why I don't put up with this nostalgia stuff, because you and me, and maybe even Justin too, we kept with stuff much longer than we should have been.
Yeah.
Like, we watched cartoons that we should have stopped watching a long time ago, and that's what everybody's like,
No.
oh man, I missed the cartoon. I was like, no, I'm going to tell you right now, it was not good, because I watched it, and I
Yeah.
remember it, and it was terrible.
Well, nostalgic for me in my man cave right now on my top shelf, right? I have all
shelf
the
man
original
cave.
Alien toys that we played with.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Ace vs. Predator, that was actually pretty good.
I have all of them right across my top shelf, and that's
It's surprising
something.
that they even made a line of toys for that,
For
because there's
the
no
mov-
cartoon at the movies were rated R, and
They
they
were
came
old
out.
by then.
Well, we were just
Yeah.
like being born
Well,
at the time when the movies were
and,
coming out.
and the aliens that they made the toys. Yep, none of those were in the movies.
yeah.
We
these
went back and watched the Predator movies, and we're like, let's see if I can see that Predator. Yep, none of these match my toy.
But that's how everything was. Like, I would play these games, and I'd play with toys of movies I'd never seen before. And then I'd go back and watch Aliens, and I'd go back to, like, Star Wars, because I played the video game, and I'm like some like book nerd. I'm like, actually in the toys, this happened. This is nothing like the toys. Like, I'm thinking the toys are the true story. I'm like, there was a bull alien and a snake alien.
A
thank
mantis
you.
alien.
Where is it? Where's the flying queen alien in this movie?
And they even did a toy commercial, live action, with actors that look like the toys. And you're like, where's this movie at?
Well, I was reading the comics that would come with the toys.
Yeah.
It was nothing like the movie. Like,
No.
everybody that died within like the first 10 minutes of the movie was all alive, and they were all like,
Well,
doing stuff.
They had
like,
Hicks, they had a
Like, I
Pone.
learned about all these characters.
What
I
was
care
the
about them,
what was
and
the
then I
black
watched
guy from the movie?
A Pone.
A Pone. Like the toy.
That's how we know his name. 'Cause I've seen the movie like once or twice.
He
Yeah,
died.
he's like
he
the,
dies
he's like
in
a
the
sergeant
movie.
or something.
And he
He
dies.
does, and we got a toy where he's like wearing a yellow shirt and a
Yeah.
red baseball hat turned back.
No.
And he's got a metal arm.
Yeah, nothing like that in the
And
movie.
you're like, he reminds me of anything. He looks like the dude from Halo.
Oh yeah.
Sergeant Briggs or whatever.
Hey, what about Hicks? Game over, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. The toys? No, he's not. He's not that dude at all.
Drake has a flat top in the toy,
He actually kind of looks like that a little bit,
kinda.
and he does have a smart gun. You know.
But he's the only one that. And Bishop looks like RoboCop,
Yeah.
the toy, and he rips in half.
Then I'm over there calling all normal aliens scorpion aliens, and I'm like, what? What are you talking about? They don't know what I'm talking about. Isn't it funny how a bull alien looks like a bull, a snake alien looks like a snake, and then like a scorpion alien just looks like a regular alien?
It's just got a point tail.
Yeah, it gets the ponytail. So.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
But
that,
the only maybe they changed his hands to like the.
yeah, I think they have connected fingers or something.
Well, I mean, it already had connected fingers like the regular aliens from
Yeah.
the It already had that.
Gorilla alien and all that shit. We had the Predators.
I-
had these
They
rip-
had so many after
we
we
bought these
stopped playing. with them.
rip-off Power Ranger and rip-off G.I. Joes because, look, I didn't watch G.I. Joes, so I don't need the actual action. I'll buy the cheaper ones because I don't watch. They're all going to break anyway. I don't even watch the cartoon.
yeah, it was like Action Force Heroes. You got them at the dollar store.
Yeah.
Take all your different random toys and make up your own storylines for them, and that's how I first started doing story writing and stuff and directing. I would just
Well,
get all these characters. And make
And you
them
know, you
stories.
remember you played Mortal Kombat. You think about these cool fatalities at the level like the pit.
Yeah.
We get these popsicle sticks, sharpen them on both sides, get a shoebox, stick it through there, and they fall in a
Well,
minute.
I
Omega
remember.
Red, when he got frozen that thing, we get a cup.
Oh yeah,
Omega Red in the
yeah.
box in
Justin,
the
we got
freezer.
Justin doing that a lot too.
Yeah.
I remember.
But I remember we would all
Josh
go
would do
over
that
to
with
somebody's
everybody.
house, if it was Sam's or yours or where y'all were beside that creek. Remember, we would
Yeah,
go down in
yeah.
the creek. But I remember what we would do is we'd lay out all of our toys, right? It'd be like, all right, Matt, you pick first. All right, you got that guy. It's my turn to pick. I get this one.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
we'd build our bases.
But you had no rules. Like, how would you even play? Like, I saw Justin play. Okay, I would play. I'd be like, all right. I'd be like talking. These characters doing this, and I would choreograph.
The point was there was no
And
rules.
then when I watched Justin play, he'd be like, bam, 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 like smash his toys into each other. I'm like, what are you doing? You're just gonna break your toy. It makes no sense. And Justin
Well-
didn't say play toys. He said, "You want to go play men?"
Play men.
Oh yes,
But
we always made fun of him.
Sam always knew more about the X-Men than anybody.
Well, that's because he had
And-
an older brother
Yeah,
Josh.
it
And
was
was
all
like,
about the cards and stuff.
Well, he would pick like these powerhouse characters and be like, Well, we're like, we have to think this through when we play with Sam. And we're like, all right, I have a force field bubble over my base with an adamantium underground, so Wolverine can't climb up, and it's anti-magnetized, so Magneto couldn't tear it up.
But Sam knew some things, but then sometimes he'd just be talking out his ass.
Yeah, he would make us some shit every now and then. He'd be
It's just, thank God we had like Brooks around, because Brooks nerded out on that stuff and bypassed Sam by far. And
Yeah.
then he passed that stuff on to Steve, and Steve's like, "What are you talking about? No."
Well, dude, it's funny about the LA X-Men stuff. Is like I collected all the cards, I had all the toys, I watched the cartoon, but I rarely read any of the comics. I had everything but the comics.
If it wasn't for the cartoon, we probably wouldn't have gave a shit about X-Men.
I mean, I love Spider-Man. I'd actually read the Spider-Man
But
comics.
I remember for a while you got big into mythology creatures. And you have,
I'm still into that.
but
my whole life.
But you have books and stuff. And I remember
Yeah.
we used to walk out here across the field and be like, "All right, that'd be the perfect habitat for
for a hippogriffin.
because y'all had that big cluster of like trees and weeds out there, and we're like, nobody would go in there at night."
Dude, because it's what you are as a kid is what you should be an adult. So I always should have just been writing and doing the stuff I'm doing now.
And I
because
think
was
that's
always
why
into that.
I think I've always liked mythology and stuff like that
Yeah.
myself, and I think that's the reason why right now the game I'm playing is Smite, because
Yeah.
you're playing as all these gods.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that you can actually pick gods against people.
Well, I think you like it because you think of yourself as a god.
Oh, I am a god. What are you talking
Like
about
the
thinking?
love god. You got a Boondock Saints shirt. I like that.
Yeah.
Did you watch the second one? How terrible is that sequel, man? And they're talking about a third one now.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it the same people?
Yeah. It's like, I don't
Well-
know. Why has that guy never thought of doing something besides Boondock Saints? Like something else. Like the guy who plays that one brother is now kind of famous because of Walking Dead.
Walking Dead just
Yeah.
kind of blew his career through the. And Willem Dafoe is in everything.
Yeah, he was in everything before that.
Yeah, but like they made it. Yeah,
I think his best role was Green Goblin.
This is what somebody said to him. They're like, "Oh, my favorite role for you is Green Goblin." It's like
he
Green-
probably looked at him and went, "What?"
He went like, "Green Goblin? What are you, 9 years old?" That's what he said. Because he was like a theater actor like class, like a master class, and he was interviewing him for all the actors. And he said, "Tell us about Green Goblin." Like, what are you, 9? Like all my roles, you want to know about Green Goblin. But anyway, like so that's like I loved like Super Nintendo and 64 way more than like I don't know, almost any system. I mean,
I'm even gonna have to say, I'm big into my Xbox and stuff, but I still think I'd nostalgic and the games that we played. I have more fun with the old ones.
I have fun with Wii U because I love
Earth Defense
Mario
Force.
Kart and Smash and all the stuff on there. But everybody likes off Nintendo. But I understand how they do it. But I don't know if I had to say like some of the most underrated games. I would say like Rock and Roll Racing because nobody ever brings that game up or talks about it. Like, oh yeah, I kind of know that game.
I love Rock and Roll Racing. That was one of the first games when I went back and got N60 or Super Nintendo. I had to have Rock and Roll Racing, and I remember Matt always was Cyberhawk. Me, I always put in the code, hold the top two buttons, go back, forward, back, and get Olaf.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
I like Snake though. I like him too.
you played Snake when I was over, and I had to have Olaf.
Yeah, I was like, okay, we got everybody make room for Justin to be Olaf. He's a big Lost Vikings fan. So when we played that game, that was one of those games that was fun, but you'd have to race so much to advance to like the next courses, you'd get bored and you'd
Well,
stop
most
playing
of the time,
game.
once we got past Grinder and we got past the car, you put so much time in that car, you get to the next area, and it's like the hovercraft car, and you're like, screw that,
Yeah,
I
so-
ain't getting that one.
Yeah.
Or I'd be spending as little money as possible on my car because I
Well,
know...
at the beginning, we refused to buy anything until we got the
Yeah.
wing car. We're like, we're going to drive this piece of crap until we can get the wing car.
Wait, it'll make me better.
And we would save up all of our money, upgrade that. And I remember upgrading all that. And the first time we ever got to the next planet where they had the hovercraft, we all looked at it and went, oh, I'm done playing for the night.
Well, you get that first like cool car, and then you get that one with the treads on it, and then you get the hovercraft.
Yeah, that's right.
But,
But we would always bypass that tread car because we upgraded the wing car.
Well, what do you have the most fun with now? Like, So you talk about all this stuff with the nostalgia. And another fun thing we had was the System Link when you had all your friends come over and you're playing with everybody.
Played Halo.
That was some of the most fun
The
ever.
original Halo was.
I mean, what's cool now is you can like talk to everybody like on your headsets. I got friends I've talked to for years and years, and it feels like I'm still friends with them. But if I think about it, I haven't seen them in person in like 5, 6, 7 years.
And that's the reason tonight I wanted to make sure I came and seen y'all before y'all go back again. Because I don't ever get to see y'all. I talk to you every now and then. I see Matt every now and then. And I talk to Alex every now and then. But I don't ever get to see y'all.
Yeah, well, that's what's it's getting old and stuff. I mean, that's what's cool about, you know.
That's why I feel like we need to start making some kind of annual guy trip where we all just do something for a weekend.
You know, we just retreat into the
you
woods
can't do
and we
it.
shout.
Or like we did that canoeing trip.
But you can't do what Sam wants to do because he wants everybody to go snowboarding in Vegas or something or Reno, and most of us can't get a week
That's what
off.
I'm saying. Listen, let's just do it in Arkansas.
Yeah.
That's fine by me.
Most of us all are within a few hour drive.
Why
here.
don't we just do alpine skiing in the Swiss Alps?
Yeah, I know it.
Dude, can I have my phone charger back?
Fine. But,
You can keep the cord. I just need the. I need this whole thing though. So if you can find another
okay.
wall
Okay.
plug.
But that's the thing with that about it. Like, so we play System Link stuff. I got so many friends for playing Halo that I never had before when we do all that System Link stuff, and it's crazy. All of the like, there was a bunch of annoying stuff, but when we were playing System Link and stuff, there's like so many cool stories. I remember like when somebody's taking off like that flag in a Warthog, and you shoot that Hail Mary rocket all the way
Across the map,
and it
or
hits
throw
them
the
and it flies.
grenade,
Like, yeah.
or throw the grenade all the way across the map, and you're like, I can't believe I hit him.
Yeah, there's like so many cool stories like that.
Hey, no.
Pause it.
Oh fuck, it wasn't recorded on that stuff. Oh well. Okay, real quick recap. That sucks. Okay, the thing we'll go around the room real quick. Things that are the worst about nowadays with games. You were saying
The worst thing about nowadays is you lose the connection that you had when you grouped up, played video games together, and the fact that don't give me DLC that you already had in the game. Don't make me pay for that.
Matt.
Well, like he said, the intimate connection, being right next to the person playing rather than being online, that's just it's not the same thing.
I don't like the big mainstream games. Just like the AAA titles is kind of like selling out, and doing the same thing every time, and I don't like how they just overwhelm you with too much stuff to the game, to where it's just too complicated. I like games where they're a little bit simpler, and you want to beat them over and over and stuff like that, and get them. Okay.
Replayability.
The thing we like most about games now, you would say,
The fact you can play with anybody, anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where they're at now.
it's like it said in Cable Guy, you can play Mortal Kombat with a friend in Vietnam.
Yeah, that you even though you can't have that intimate connection because you go your own ways in life, you're still able to keep some type of connection with that person, keep up with them rather than just
So that's your
Facebook.
favorite thing about them now?
Oh, that and that.
Graphics
Jesus.
and gameplay.
Graphics are
I
better.
love the fact you can
Uh,
download games now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. That instead of having to go someplace, but you could be even more introverted than before.
My number one thing about games is now that it's online, I can pick up girls on there because that's the best way to make
yeah,
women.
that's
No, I'm
best
just kidding. No, I love that you can make games and you can mod and you can do Mario Maker and all. I like how much simpler like the tools are getting in the hands of the gamers now, so we can kind of like learn how to make the stuff. So I love that now. But we're running out of time. We're up here to see my grandparents. It's late. We're over an hour, so we're going to wrap it up here. But this is the first time the Super Farmer Brothers Super Show podcast. Thank you, Justin Harton, for coming by. We really appreciate it. We're going down memory lane, and we're going to do more of these. We're going to have Justin more on this stuff. He likes to talk about this scary, spooky stuff and all that. You feel how passionate we were about stuff. But anyway, we're wrapping up, and we'll talk to you next time.